Okay, I think this is where I left off. So, tax proposals. Let's see what they got to say about taxes. Yeah, you guys don't want to listen to this. That's fine. You can just shut it off. I'd understand. I'm just kind of letting you know what goes on here in Connecticut, and I'm sure that we all have the same problems and issues. Now I got to find my talk button. Where did it go? Oh, there it is.
Tax proposals. A new proposal would add 0.5% to the sales tax, with the money going mainly to lower income communities. The bill would calculate a municipality's capacity under a formula published in the New England Public Policy Center. The formula calculates the total amount of taxable property in a city or town against a standardized tax rate in a per capita basis. Wealthy towns in southwestern Connecticut has the highest per capita capacity, while cities like Bridgeport, Hartford, Waterbury, and New Haven, along with some smaller cities and some rural towns, have a lower capacity. Another bill would have added a 2% surcharge on capital gains for taxpayers earning $500,000 or more, as single filers or married couples earning more than $1 million in a year. It wouldn't apply to trusts or estates. Democratic legislators tabled the idea for now and will study the issue in the future. One of his biggest tax change proposals would impose a sales tax on services at a rate equal to goods. That would put a tax on contractor fees for home renovations, vehicle trade-ins, and legal services, among others. The move is expected to bring in nearly $800 million in revenue over the next 2 fiscal years. Lamont has also suggested taxes on wine and liquor bottles, plastic grocery bags, sugar-sweetened beverages, and a higher tax on e-cigarette liquid. Early voting. The House voted by a large enough margin to authorize a ballot referendum question that could lead to early voting and no-excuse absentee voting. The Senate must secure at least 27 votes for the item to appear on the 2020 ballot. If Connecticut voters approve, it would allow legislators to craft a bill in time for the 2021 election, according to CT News Junkie.
Alright, now the tax thing, again, getting out of control. That's what I told you earlier. How far can you push somebody? Now, a lot of this, they're talking $500,000, $1 million, Okay, they're making it, they're sugarcoating it, basically. They're saying, so for instance, I would say, well, if a guy's making $500,000 a year or $1 million a year, let him pay his taxes, but it happens to everybody, but they're just using that to make it light, thinking, okay, well, you know what, for myself, I'm not going to get hit because I don't make that kind of money. Well, I'm still going to get hit, but they're taking your attention away, they're baiting the hook with those higher numbers, saying that, you're the one. That's like, for instance, years ago when we had the draft. My brother-in-law voted for somebody because he was talking about, he said, I don't believe in the draft. Well, he had 2 kids that were going to be getting involved, and, the next thing you know, I mean, they didn't get drafted, but the next thing you know, this person that was talking about, I don't believe in the draft, he's getting ready to draft, because he didn't say he wasn't going to. He just said he didn't believe in it. He's playing with words again, and that's what happens, So that's kind of that with the taxes and such, and the problem being is, when they said earlier that, Connecticut is a thing of habit, it is, because it's one of those things to where, because it's a democratic state, it always seems to fall to where they want it to fall, basically.
Early voting. The House voted by a large enough margin to authorize a ballot referendum question that could lead to early voting and no-excuse absentee voting. The Senate must secure at least 27 votes for the item to appear on the 2020 ballot. If Connecticut voters approve, it would allow legislators to craft a bill in time for the 2021 election, according to CT News Junkie. Clean slate criminal records. A bill would automatically wipe the criminal records of people who are convicted of misdemeanors 3 years after their sentence is complete and certain felonies 5 years after completion of a sentence. It passed a committee vote 21-19. Advocates say it will help people get out of a cycle of crime by allowing them to get jobs without the stigma of a criminal record following them around. Some Republican lawmakers expressed concern, including records being wiped without any input from victims.
Now, they're talking light stuff here at this point with a few felons. And again, I can agree with some of that. The problem I have with it is, where does it stop? And I can understand about the stigma, all right? Because sometimes I see it. I see it happening. You got a record, you know, like with law enforcement, you see them, they know you got that record, you got that over your head. They totally look at you differently. Totally. You know? And you could be a changed man. You could be someone that got arrested when you were 21 years old, and you're 50 or 60 now, and they still look at you as that 21-year-old pain in the ass. And there's people out there, there's law enforcement out there that still look at you like that. You know, they don't give you the benefit of the doubt. Now, on the other side of the coin, I know some criminals. Well, yeah, I've been in the business a while, and they've made a complete turnaround. You know, I'm telling you, just in their actions, you can see that they've made a turnaround. You know, and their record is going to stop them from getting I guess what you would say, a good, cushy job. You know, but they're working, making a very good pay. All right, where can they be if they didn't have it? I don't know. But they're doing very well for themselves because their actions proved different, not a piece of paper. So again, it depends. It may help, it may not. You know, the 3 and 5 year thing, that could make a little bit of a difference. You know, I don't know. If you guys have any thoughts on it, feel free to kick in. Let's talk about these tolls for a minute, because this is going to be, and the marijuana. Oh, Jesus, I think I know what's going on with that one, but here.
Tolls. This one is the $800 million question. Connecticut is the only state on the eastern seaboard that doesn't have tolls. Lamont and many Democratic legislators want to change that in an effort to rebuild transportation infrastructure on the state's highway and rail systems. The exact details aren't known, but Lamont wants no more than 50 toll gantries that would be every 6 to 7 miles on I-84, I-95, I-91, and Route 15. State Easy Pass holders with a commuter discount would pay 4.4 cents per mile under current proposals during peak times. There are also proposals to look at tax credit or ways to alleviate the cost for Connecticut residents. Republican legislative leadership has been steadfast in its opposition to tolls and criticize plans that would allow bureaucracy to decide toll rates in the future. Trip examples for peak times: Stamford to New Haven, $1.80. New Haven to Hartford, $1.72. Danbury to Waterbury, $1.28. Milford to New Haven, 44 cents. Marijuana. Lamont has signaled his support the legalization, but said the biggest push is coming from the legislature itself. Eventually a single bill regarding the major aspects of marijuana legalization will be crafted and put before the legislature for a vote. Paid family medical leave. There are 3 paid family leave bills floating through the legislature. 2 bills proposed by legislators would offer up to 12 weeks of leave per year with 100% coverage of the employee's salary with a maximum benefit of $1,000 per week.
No, I didn't catch all that, to be honest with you. Would you mind if I played that again? You can shut it off if you like. I just want to see what the hell. For some reason, I lost track of what they were talking about. It's pretty good. I don't even listen to what I'm doing here.
Marijuana. Lamont has signaled his support the legalization, but said the biggest push is coming from the legislature itself. Eventually a single bill regarding the major aspects of marijuana legalization will be crafted and put before the legislature for a vote. Paid family medical leave. There are 3 paid family leave bills floating through the legislature. 2 bills proposed by legislators would offer up to 12 weeks of leave per year with 100% coverage of the employee's salary with a maximum benefit of $1,000 per week. Lamont's bill offers a maximum benefit of up to $900 per week at a 67% replacement rate. Here is how those proposals compare to other states. The program would begin paying benefits by July 1, 2021, with deductions to employees starting a year before that. There is some debate about whether the program should be administered by the State Department of Labor or a private insurance company, according to the CT Post. One union official estimated it would take between 100 and 300 new hires to administer the program through the state.
Alright, so the marijuana was just a short blip, alright, of how they want to push it. Now what the hell's beeping? So that's one side of the coin. Now, they're talking about, and I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are going to smoke, but I personally don't believe in it. I mean, it's just me. If you're a friend of mine and you are a, what the hell is that now? And you are one of those that like to partake, well, that's fine. Just don't do it when I'm with you. And you don't even do it when I'm near you at that point, or have it with you or on you or in your breath or in your system right now. It's illegal, so I can't deal with you. But what would you think? See, here's the way I look at it. Do I want a doctor that just got done smoking a joint going into my heart? You know, or even taking out an appendix, or even giving me a colonoscopy. You know, I mean, do I want a doctor to even look at me that may have been in the office toting away or having a brownie? You know what I mean? I don't think so. You know, it's like having a doctor come in after having a few bottles of beer or a couple of shots of Jack, you know, and he comes staggering in. You know, okay, he's either staggering in or he's coming in with a real happy smile on his face, one or the other. You know, either way, he's impaired. I don't want him working on me. You know, now that may be pushing the limit, but it's the same thing with driving. You know, what do you do when you get pulled over, you have an accident, and there's a smell of marijuana in your car? Do you get pulled over and you get a ticket for, you know, driving while smoking? You know, I mean, I just don't believe in it for that reason. Now, the state is looking at it in a way to where when it's taxable now, that if it's legal, so we can tax it. See, again, instead of talking about dropping taxes and cutting the budget and stop paying off people that you owe favors to and start thinking about getting things down, no, let's just raise everything and push everybody out. I mean, we've got a lot of celebrities that live in here in Connecticut that are even moving out and selling their homes. So, hello, you know, if it's getting too much for them, you know, hello, whoops. So, the other thing is, if you have a prescription for medical use marijuana, well, you have to get what they call a card. You have to have your medical marijuana card. And then, why are you going to a private concern to get this medical drug, and you're not going to the drugstore to get it? You know what I mean? So now we're going to a facility that's privately owned and licensed, permitted to sell medical marijuana as long as you have your medical marijuana card. I would think it should be passed out through a drugstore, not a private company. Now, medical marijuana, let's just say it does work the way I understand it. They even have the oils. But here's the story. If anybody in Connecticut deals with, not so much deals with, but takes any type of medical marijuana in any way, shape, or form, oil, whatever. If it can't be bought over the counter without the card, they will take your gun permit. So you cannot use medical marijuana that supposedly they take all the high out of it, all right? That's another story. Or the oils or anything, if you're in chronic pain and it's prescribed to you by a legitimate doctor, you can't take it if you want to keep your gun permit, because they will take your gun permit if you have a medical marijuana card. Yeah. So where do we go? You know. So now, and there's supposedly no high in that one. You know, it supposedly keeps you normal. I couldn't tell you. Now, with that, they say there's no high in it. Well, a couple days ago, we had an overdose from somebody that was on medical marijuana. Nah, okay, how does this work? You know? So, if your medical marijuana you need a card for, and we're going to make it legal for recreation use, what's going to happen to the medical marijuana people that are selling it, these private concerns that are just opening up stores? They do have to be licensed and inspected by the state, but they're just basically a private concern. I can open up a medical marijuana store if I wanted to. Right? And at that point, and where are they going to go as far as getting their money now? Okay, versus the person that can go and buy it legally and get high off it at the same time. And what's going to happen to that person that can buy it for recreation, like drinking? Right? You know, and at that point, your permit. You get pulled over, you got a smell of marijuana in your car. Sir, do you have a gun permit? Yes, give me it. You know, I mean, how is this going to work? You know? You know, I mean, the next thing you know, you're going to see, instead of the bar where you can get alcohol, you're going to see a marijuana bar where everybody can go in on a weekend and watch the game and tote away and get high. You know, I mean, some people enjoy it. I hate to take away enjoyment to anybody, but where's this country going? Really, where are we headed? You know, I mean, anything for a tax dollar seems to be. You know, and this is all stuff that they took away from everybody years ago because they seen that it was going to be a problem. All right, so meanwhile, family medical level, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to skip ahead here. Teachers, let's see what they have to say about teachers. I'm not going to bore you with all this, guys. You can turn it off at any time, you know that.
Teacher pensions. Lamont wants to shift some of the burden onto towns to pay for the costs of teacher pensions. Currently the state picks up the tab, but Lamont, like his predecessor Gov. Daniel Malloy, thinks that should change. The proposal would shift costs more for wealthier communities that tend to pay their teachers higher salaries while reducing the hit for the state's poorer communities. There is some pushback as towns don't have a say in managing the teacher pension fund or negotiating benefit or contribution levels. The proposal passed committee and will have to be decided by the state legislature. It is unpopular among many municipal leaders. Connecticut Council of Small Towns Executive Director Betsy Guerra said it would lead to higher property taxes.
Yeah, well, this is true. All right, and you know, teachers, they're making a fair pay, but I still believe some of them are underpaid, as well as some of them are overpaid, and that's all there is to say about that. But they do have a tough job, and I agree on a lot of what they're doing, but I don't agree on the pensions being pushed off to the towns. Now, why they're doing that, one of the reasons is, again, the state loves to waste money on favors that they owe. And a lot of the towns, well, not a lot of them, I can name maybe 4 or 5 of them so far, that are actually in the green. So their management is doing well, and the taxes in that town are not going up. They know what they're doing, if you understand what I'm saying there. And when I was up at I forgot where I was up in Hartford, and I think we were lobbying the $300 gun renewal. And as we were doing this, there's a couple of, well, there's quite a few people on the committee up there that are in our favor. But, you know, a couple of them were saying, you know, my town, because they wanted the towns to start helping pay too, you know. And they said, wait a minute, why should, I forgot how it came up, but they wanted this one town they used as an example, which the mayor of that town, I wish she would be governor, because she'd be a great governor. But she doesn't want to get involved in it. She's happy where she is. I think she's the mayor. Anyway, her town is doing very well. The neighboring town is always in the red and always looking for help from the state. So what they want to do now is take from the town that's doing good and give that money to the town that's doing bad. All right, take that money that the town just saved up for, that's keeping them going and keeping them in the green and keeping everybody working, and the taxes are low and everybody's happy, you know, and the town has money in its pocket. If it has to emergency or has to do something, it can do it. All right, well, let's take that overage and give it to that town that's just blowing the money and spending it like crazy. Because every year that town is coming to the state for money. Well, you know what? If every year that town's coming to the state for money, don't you think you better get rid of whoever's running that town? You know, come on. You know, and now you're going to start taking from the towns that are trying to do it right? You know, socialism maybe? I don't know. I don't know. All right, anyway, I'm not going to take this any further, but that's kind of like where we're at. But when it comes to Connecticut, guys, you know, I mean, I know we all have it bad, but hopefully this will make you feel better about your town or state by hearing the crap that we go through here in Connecticut. All right? And the same thing with guns. You know, that's another story. You know, we can't even buy an AR-15 or an AK or anything that has more than 10 rounds. I don't mind the 10-round thing, to be honest with you. But we got a new chief police that was sworn in. Kevin left. But, you know, yeah, whatever. You know. Yeah, well, not we, but the state keeps putting these idiots in charge. You know, well, we're not going to go up on your taxes. And the first thing he gets in,